Hi, we're Joel and Lia.
And this video is all about UK versus USA culture shocks. So things that might shock you if you're American for the first time in the UK.
If you do enjoy this, let us know in the comments, because we can do a reverse of things that we were shocked by when we went to the US.
Yes.
But let us know in the comments, and subscribe if you're new here. We know lots of you watching are not subscribed, and it's free. So just click subscribe.
I love that we have to tell you it's free.
It is free.
We're like, there's no money. YouTube is free.
YouTube is free for all.
There are paid perks if you want them.
Yeah, you
Becoming a member.
Yeah. Oh, that caused a whole...
Yeah, that was a wave.
People didn't understand that. Hopefully they've got it now.
Culture shock.
That's optional. That was a culture shock. Wasn't it? YouTuber versus non-YouTuber.
The first one that we've written down as culture shock is the complete variety of accents in the UK. So we've said it in other videos as well, but just an hour down the road or 20 minutes that way, you find a different regional accent in the UK. We've got so many. In fact,
why have I got in my head 176? I don't know if that's true, but it's over 100 different accents and dialects in the UK.
Yeah.
And think how tiny our little island is.
Yeah.
That's madness.
So a bit of hay fever then.
I know.
So many accents and dialects. In fact, over the weekend, a family friend who lives in, well, what he calls Donny, which is Doncaster, came down to the Midlands, even though he probably still identifies as Midlands. And honestly, he sounds so different. I have to like open my ears up and just be like more attentive to what he's saying, because I'm like, sorry, come again. Like, I can't do his accent, but it's just crazy. It's not even that far up the road.
No, and it's not as simple as saying there's a northern accent, southern accent.
No.
Like, there are so many different accents within that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think to Americans particularly, or not even particularly actually, anyone that isn't from the UK, I think finds it hard to tune into those strong accents like Scouse accent, Geordie accent, Scottish accent.
Yeah.
And even within that, us as English people will say Scottish accent. But you've got Glasgow accent is very different to the Edinburgh accent and other variations as well.
And also, we've got an accent. We've got an accent to those people. No one thinks they've got an accent, do they? But we've all got or is it a dialect? Who knows?
I think dialect includes the different words.
Yeah.
So like how we would say skiving. When we're talking about bunking school or bunking.
I see.
Whereas accent just means the sound, I think.
Yeah, so just in terms of the sound, it's just that perhaps our version of British English is like the most heard, the most, it's like the most kind of...
prominent, I guess?
Not even the most prominent, just like the one that you'd hear more as perhaps an English learner.
Like on mainstream media.
Yeah. That's not necessarily a good thing. It just means that maybe we're more easily understood than someone from, say, Liverpool, and so on. Yeah. So that was the first culture shock.
The next one is our tiny, tiny roads.
Tiny roads.
Tiny roads.
Okay, I will always love our lovely little villages and tiny roads, but being a driver on those roads is shocking.
Yeah, it's really hard to navigate. Even like
horrible.
On a motorway, or you guys say a freeway, the lanes are just a lot smaller, whereas you go to America and you're not worried about like, oh, am I going to hit that car when I go past them? You're just like, I've got a massive lane. Let alone, like you said, the small country lanes where there's room for one car. So if another car comes that direction, one of you has got to reverse.
It's really scary, actually. And I'm only just starting to get more confident with driving down a country lane where someone's coming at me the other way at 60 miles per hour. And I'm thinking, they're going to hit me, they're going to hit me, they're going to hit me, or I'm going to hit them. It's really hard. And I feel like if you're going to rent a car over here, you'll just be prepared for these tiny, tiny lanes.
Also, automatic cars are not a given. We normally use manual, or as Americans say, what do they call it? Stick shift?
A stick shift.
Or do you drive with a stick?
It's more expensive to hire an auto.
Yeah.
Obviously, than it is to hire a stick shift.
Yeah.
You'll mostly get given a stick, a car with a stick, which we call a manual car. And everyone learns in manual cars here, unless you specifically say, I only want to learn auto.
And then your license is different. I think if you pass in an automatic,
you can only ever drive an automatic car. More on cars. Number 3, an MOT. So you might not know what an MOT stands for. I've actually written it down here.
Okay.
It stands for Ministry of Transport.
Oh.
So it's basically like a car health check.
Yeah.
And it's essential for every car on the road in the UK to have an MOT. Is it every 6 6 months or 1 year?
Maybe it's a year, because I haven't had one and my car's a year old.
Okay,
so I'm going to say a year. I should probably get one.
Yeah, so it's just not a thing in the States. I've got a clip here of a YouTuber that I found, and she moved to Wales in the UK, and she's talking about how MOTs are an absolutely amazing thing and how they absolutely should be implemented in the States.
That was a culture shock for me, because they was like, oh, I need to renew my MOT, and I'm like, MO who? What are you talking about? And then he explained it to me. It just ensures that your car is running properly, like you're taking care of your car. Me personally, living in America, I think America needs that 100%. There's been plenty of time people driving on the road with no door and just random shit like that, tail lights out, and that can affect you because you don't know if they're making a right turn or a left turn. And this kind of ensures that your car is up to date.
That's right. I didn't even realize that wasn't a thing until you told me that.
Yeah, it's a basic safety test.
Yeah, but if you fail your MOT, you're not allowed to drive.
Yeah, it tests things like brakes, lighting, suspension,
I should
emissions,
say, they're
all
not
sorts.
free though. You have to pay for them yourself.
Yeah.
So old cars will pass the MOT, or can pass the MOT. So it's not saying that like you have to have a new car. It's just saying that it is safe to drive. So you could have a really old car that can pass the MOT.
Yeah.
It might be in a bad condition, but it's safe at least.
Okay, so the next one that we were talking about is general day-to-day greetings.
Yeah.
Asking someone how they are or not. So just the phrase, you all right, doesn't mean you're right, doesn't actually mean, are you all right, Joel?
No.
It just, what does it even mean? You're right.
You're right. It's just
hello.
hi.
Hiya.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I heard someone's story where they were like, I was in a supermarket and the lady in the supermarket said, oh, you all right? And I was like, yeah, and this is an American. They were like, yeah, I'm absolutely fine. Yeah, I'm good. Just looking, just browsing. That's not a response that is needed to you all right.
No, you can literally just go, hey,
Hiya.
or whatever. Equally, you can say, if someone on checkout was like, hey, you're right, I'd be like, yeah, good, you? And they'd be like, yeah, good.
Yeah.
You can say that, but they're not asking for that. So just a way of saying, or equally, would be like, you're right.
You're right.
You're right.
Yeah, you can say you're right back.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I've said it before, but do you remember when I walked into my hairdresser's and she was on autopilot?
Oh,
and I was like, hiya. She was like, yeah, you. I didn't even say, how are you?
No. Yeah,
hiya,
you.
yeah, you. Yeah, good, thanks, Grace. She's
So
she's so
good.
lovely, but
Aw.
that is hilarious.
That is really, really funny.
Oh.
But yeah, Americans tend to find that confusing. I remember my old American flatmate used to find that confusing. She's not old, she's young, as in
She was just your previous.
my previous American housemate.
Yeah.
She was like, what do I say? I was like, I don't know, you just say whatever you want.
Don't actually say you're not all right, though, because I don't think Brits are prepared for that.
Oh, it's not an invitation to like
Open up.
open up.
No, not in small talk with a stranger anyway.
No.
Do you remember when we got into an Uber in the US and it was that lady and we were like, you all right? And she was like, my daughter's just been rushed into hospital.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh gosh, that's awful. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And she wasn't okay. And
She
she
wasn't okay.
continued to tell us about how not okay she was. And I'm sitting there thinking, are you okay to be driving this Uber right
know.
now? Because you don't seem like you're in a good way.
You should be going home and being like worrying at home.
Yeah. We just weren't ready for that.
No, and we as Brits would feel too impolite to do that. So even if we're dying inside, to a stranger at least, we'll be like completely
Good,
fine.
thanks.
We're good, thanks. That's why that term "stiff upper lip" comes from for Brits, is because we just don't admit to any emotion. But we
So
should say, like,
funny.
we were happy for that lady to unload on us. Like,
it was
absolutely fine. But it's just something a bit jarring.
Just
You're
took
not
us-
expecting it.
It did take us by surprise, I think.
We were just expecting, you.
Yeah, good, thanks, you. Yeah, you. So the next one is plug sockets.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be a bit thrown by the fact that we have like an on and off switch at every socket.
Yeah.
So everything can be plugged in, but the power chain can be off or on.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't realise this until a
in
while
the
ago.
States.
Yeah, where like American plugs just do not have on and off switches. In
Yeah.
order to get it to turn off, you have to unplug it.
Yeah, exactly. So like, for instance, hairdryer goes in the little 2-pin thing, and luckily your hairdryer's got like on or off on the device. But in the UK, you'd have the on and off on the hairdryer, and then once it's plugged into the wall, you'd have on and off from there as well. Yeah, I feel like the UK might be one of the only countries that has the on-off.
Yeah, I don't even know. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they're very safety conscious in the UK.
Yeah.
So maybe it's to do with like kids. So if your kid came in and it was plugged in but off at the switch, they might not know to turn it on. So they'd play with the hairdryer, but nothing would happen.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it's to do with.
Be.
I don't know.
It could. I just think it makes a lot of sense as well, because when you're going away, you don't have to like unplug everything. You can just go off, off, off.
Yeah.
With your switches.
Yeah.
Brits love saving money.
Yeah, we do. As we said before, anything to save a bit of cash.
Okay, so the next one's all about condiments. So you might be disappointed by our sauces.
Yeah, we don't seem to have as many condiments as in the US.
Yeah.
And even some of ours we do have are just like a weaker, lesser good version of American ones. So like honey mustard.
Yeah, especially like honey mustard in Subway. Like in the US, it's like an actual sauce, whereas here it's kind of like a vinaigrette with a bit of like a honey taste to it. It's just not the same.
No.
You won't find as many sugary sauces because I think we've said it before, but the UK's just got more like sugar tax laws. It's more costly for them to put sugar in things, and I think maybe they're just more health conscious than the US, I guess.
Probably. Only by a tiny bit.
Yeah, only by a tiny bit. But the main reason is probably a money reason why they don't pump so much sugar into everything.
Also, you very rarely will you get, like in Five Guys or Chick-fil-A when we've been there, Shake Shack, you might have the pumps where you can pump things.
Yeah.
I think at McDonald's, occasionally they might have a ketchup pump.
And maybe a barbecue sometimes with the little sachets where you can pump and the sachets are tiny as well. They're like that small. Much sauce. You can't get mayo. You can ask for mayo, you won't get it.
Yeah, well, that's the other annoying thing. You have to ask for sachets, and like when they say any sauces and you're like, oh, can I get ketchup or chili or whatever it is, they'll give you like one tiny sachet and you're like, what can I do with that? Just give me 10.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas when we were in what's that place called? We loved it. We met Isaiah. It was called Whataburger. They bring around an array of sauces for you.
Yeah.
Like most takeaways. Also at that really famous one on Sunset, Ariana Grande, In-N-Out.
Yeah.
They had loads of sauces there as well.
This is the difference between me and you. You remember people's names. I remember like food places.
I'm like, we met Isaiah,
Ariana.
Yeah.
I remember the In-N-Out and
Whataburger. So yeah, if you want sauces in the UK, you might be a bit disappointed. And also the McDonald's here, like they'll have like sweet curry. Oh yeah. You won't get that in the States. The sauces here are just odd.
Yeah.
Don't ask for mayonnaise, you won't get it.
In the McDonald's here in the UK, let me tell you something. I need to dip my fries in mayo and ketchup. They do not have that. Now, Burger King does have packets of mayo and ketchup. Now, if you ask them to put mayo on your burger, they'll do that. But if you ask them for some mayo, they won't do that. So you mean to tell me you can't give me a little... You know what I do? I don't even argue with it anymore. I'm not bothered. You know what I'm saying? Because one, when I go to Burger King, I stack up with mayo packets and I keep it in my purse. It sounds weird and you might think I'm crazy, but I keep packets of mayo and ketchup in my purse because not a lot of fast food places will have that, will have those condiments.
She's so funny. I'll try and link her video.
It's weird though, because we do like mayo in the UK.
Yeah, I know.
Brits love mayo.
And they put it in the burger, but they just don't have it available like on tap.
That's so weird.
Just don't have it. Odd.
So the next thing is that ice just really isn't the same in the UK. Not in terms of the quality. We just don't put it to the same extent as in the US.
Yeah, ice isn't a thing. I've grown up in a family where they're like ordering a drink where they're like, no ice, please.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because my family would always be like, but I'm paying for the drink. I don't want a cup of ice. I want to pay for the drink I've ordered.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, we're living in a country where there's no refills. There's no free refills.
No. Yeah, so to Americans, it's not a big deal. You're like, if it's full of ice, it's fine. I've paid $3 for this drink, but I can just get unlimited refills. In the UK, you pay £3 for a drink, one drink. But if that's full of ice, you're like,
what have I paid for?
What have I paid for?
That's the attitude. It makes total sense when you think about the fact there's no refills.
Yeah.
Why else wouldn't there be ice? Okay, we don't live in a really warm country. Yeah. But in the US, you just really want a cold drink. You just want that really cold. It's so hot out there. You're like, even me with really sensitive teeth, I'm like, give me something cold.
Yeah. So you get it. And I know that in the US, you can ask for no ice. Lots of people are like, Joel, just ask them to say no ice, because I've been known to fish it out and chuck it away. Because I'm like, I don't want ice in there.
Yeah.
But I just forget because in the UK, when you do have ice, they give you like
2?
2 or 3 cubes.
Yeah.
Whereas in the US, they're like 10 million cubes,
10
pouring
million
them
cubes.
in, and you're like, I don't want
Also,
this.
do they give you cubes there, or do they give you crushed? I feel like in takeaways in the US, it's all crushed ice.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't really know. I think it must be a temperature difference. I'm wondering if, like, in Minnesota in winter, do they also give you loads of ice? Or is it a temperature thing, or is it just an American thing?
Also, at McDonald's in the US, do you get free refills? Or is that just a restaurant thing? So I was just wondering whether, because they give you loads of ice there, maybe in the US one, if that's also free refill. I'm remembering it. We're sitting back down. We're in Whataburger. You can just go up and put your refill. Of course it's free. Everywhere's got the...
McDonald's isn't like that.
No?
I don't think McDonald's has the help yourself.
I don't know.
Maybe it does. You can tell we don't eat fast food very often.
We just don't go to enough McDonald's over there.
Yeah, we need to go and try.
Because there's so much choice.
Yeah.
Anyway, culture shocks.
See, this is why we also get comments being like, how do you guys eat so much rubbish on your America trips and you just don't put on weight? And it's because we'll spend like a year not eating fast food, and then when we go to America,
we'll eat everything.
everything.
So that's all of our culture shocks for now, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video, and as Joel said at the beginning, let us know if you want to see the reverse.
Yeah, we're happy to do that.
We'll try and put that together.
Absolutely. Although every time we do that, like this one's quite a safe one to do, but every time we say something like a culture shock about America, people just think we're being mean, and we're not being mean.
No, it's just a culture shock.
Yeah, a culture shock. But anyway,
we should call it a culture surprise.
Guys, here are the cultural surprises. But no, we will do the reverse if you guys want it. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe.
Please subscribe to our channel, guys. We can see the amount of non-subscribers watching. It's painful.
And we're so near 300,000 subscribers.
Please.
So near. So please tell all your friends, share our videos with your friends. There's bound to be at least one video on our channel that they like.
Yeah, there's bound to be.
There's bound to
be. If
there
isn't, then jeez.
Yeah, we haven't been doing our job properly.
We'll see you in the next one, guys.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.